So number 17 asked me to complete the flowchart proof and then do a 2-column proof, but I'm just going to actually just do a flowchart proof like normal. So what I always like to do, just to reassure myself, I always like to write my givens down just for my first step, so I always know where to start. So I'm just going to put that my given was that angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. And my reason for that is just given. So I have a diagram here, and it's telling me I need to prove that angle 2 is congruent to angle 4. So I know that 1 and 3 are congruent. So I'm going to go ahead and state that for my step 2, let's see, step 2, I have to write kind of small for this one. I'm going to say this all in the same step. So I'm going to say that angles 1 and 2 and that angles 3 and 4 are vertical angles. Angles 1 and 2 are vertical angles. Angles 3 and 4 are vertical angles. I'm just going to kind of say that all in the same step. I'm going to say angles 1 and 2 and angles 3 and 4 are vertical angle pairs. And I could see that, I knew that just because of the definition of a vertical angle. Okay. So then, now that I know the vertical angles, I can say that, okay, well I know that vertical angles are congruent. So I'm going to go ahead and say for step 3 that 1 and 2 are congruent, and I know that 3 and 4 are congruent. I'm just coming from my step 3. I know that's true because of that vertical angles congruence theorem. Vertical angle congruence theorem. And then looking at what I have for my given and looking at what I just wrote down for my step 3, I also forgot to draw an arrow between these. I created an if-then statement. So looking at what I have for my given on step 1, right here, and what I know to be true right here, if I know that angles 1 and 3 are congruent, and then I know that angles 1 and 2 are congruent, I can say that simply angles 3 and 2, or angles 2 and 3 are congruent. So for my step 4, I'm going to say that angles 2 and 3 are congruent. That's just from my transitive property. And that came from here and here. Okay. So my 5th and final step, if I know that angles 2 and 3 are congruent, and I know that angles 3 and 4 are congruent, it's wanting me to say that 2 and 4 are congruent. So within steps 3 and 4, I can finally say for my step 5, and I'll put it kind of down here. I couldn't fit it up there. I can finally say that using my transitive property, 2 and 4 are congruent from those 2 little purple dots. And that's from my transitive property once again. So I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and draw my arrows. I knew that from my step 3 and my step 4.